Hey folks, this is Ryan from ORS Racks Direct here in glorious Vermont. We are doing a little demonstration of different options for hitch-mounted bike carriers. When you look at all the options, there's many, and we're going to try to break it down for you, make some sense of it. And we're going to start with the platform style, which came out a few years ago as an alternative to the hang and dangles, which you'll see in another video. But the idea here with platforms is ease of loading, and also sort of the best protection for your bike. So we're going to go through the line here, and we're going to start out with a pretty basic carrier called the Sportrack-2 EZ. This is also available in a 4-bike option, but the 2 EZ is 1.25" and 2" compatible. So it comes out of the box with an adapter to fit a 2" receiver. Right now we've got it mounted into an 1.25" receiver. And as you can see, it's got 2 trays to hold 2 bikes, and you'll kind of see how the platform style works. So I'm going to load this thing right now. You basically drop your specialized tarmac in there, and you drop this hook down onto the top tube. It works just by loosening the knob, and it slides down on this post. And when you got it, you know, firm and snug against the top tube, you tighten it down. It does have sort of some basic wheel straps as extra protection, and you know, they're just Velcro straps, so nothing too fancy. But again, this is meant to be affordable yet functional at the same time. Now, one thing you'll notice about this style is that it'll carry 2 bikes, but obviously one hook is going to be a lot lower than the other. So you kind of need to decide which bike is taller, and then that one would go on the outside. You can also alternate, you can alternate the hooks. You can slide them up and down, but it will accommodate 2 bikes. Now, a couple of other features that you do get with this, even though it's a basic model. I'm gonna just loosen that and slide that out of the way here. You can fold it up. These guys can pivot up, and you got a little pin to kind of put that in place like that. So when you're not using it, you can kind of get those out of the way. And for access to the rear of the vehicle, you pull this pin out, and then this will drop down, and that just kind of gets it out of the way so you can at least open the door. You know, if you need to get in there, you pull the thing out. So there it is, the 2 EZ by Sportrack. Moving on, the Saris Thelma. This is a Thelma 2, and it's a little bit of different design. Sidekick Steve is going to help me make sure this thing doesn't tip over. The 2-bike and 3-bike options both are compatible with 1.25" or 2", but you need to select. They don't come out of the box ready to bounce back and forth. So here we've got a Thelma 2 for 2" receivers, and then of course the Thelma 3 is available in 2", but also 1.25". So the Thelma is unique in the fact that you can actually get 3 bikes on an 1.25". All of the other platform racks that we carry, if they're 1.25" compatible, you're only going to be able to carry 2 bikes. But the Thelma is the one exception. Basically, a little bit different design. Drop your bike down on top, and the way that this works, this guy is going to come up and hug the front wheel like that, and then you would strap it down with the provided wheel straps, just like that. So it's a pretty unique carrier, and it's simple, and it's nice and lightweight, which is a nice feature as well. And it does fold up and out of the way when you're not using it. So there it is, a Saris Thelma 2. The Thule 990 DoubleTrack, platform style. Thank you, Sidekick Steve. It's got a little switch right here to lower down the platform. And as you can see, it's kind of similar to the Sportrack-2 EZ, but it's a little nicer in the fact that these are activated with just a push button. The wheel straps are a little nicer as well, and these are lockable. So you need to get yourself a Thule 512 lock pack. You slide the cores in there, and then when you push this down on top of the top tube of the bike, obviously the bike's going to be locked in place. When you're done, this little button right here, you pull up, the mask will drop down, and you can kind of slide these down as far as you need to. And then, once again, that's up and out of the way when you're not using it. Alright, so the 990 DoubleTrack. Alright, moving on to the Yakima Stickup, which is similar in the way that it works to both the 990 and the EZ that we looked at. Pull this red button here, down drops the mast. Obviously, if you've got this attached to a car, just like with the 990, that will go down first, and then it'll fold up flat. But carries the same way as these others, but the one unique feature of this that we like a lot is the fact that these two arms move independently of one another. So you don't need to worry about which bike is taller. Either one would work. Obviously, you're going to alternate, as with all of these, the handlebars. But basic wheel trays works just fine. Wheel straps, and as the 990 showed you, the wheel trays are adjustable to accommodate different wheelbases. To lock this, we would suggest the Yakima lockup cable. And the way that this works, it actually, hold on a second, here we go. It comes with a lock housing for the hitch pin. So you throw that on the end of the hitch pin and no one can take that away. And then the way that this works, it's sort of a cable. You would kind of loop the lockup cable around part of the frame. You can actually probably go down here. So that's not going anywhere. And you fish this through. And there's also a lock housing on the end here. And you kind of work the cable through your bikes. And then eventually you're going to have your bike in place. At the very end of it, you loop this guy around like the top tube of the frame. So all the bikes are going to be locked safely with this cable. You can kind of picture it. I could show you, but we got to move on. Oh, of course. Thank you, Sidekick Steve. As with all Yakima Hitch bike carriers, it comes with an integrated bottle opener. Brilliant idea. All right, when you're done, drop this down. This tray can kind of slide right in there to hold it in place. Little red button here you pull out, and that locks up and out of the way. So this is a Thule T2. So now we're getting into the premium carriers. Now the T2 is available in a 2-inch or an 1.25 inch as far as the 2-bike carrier. Okay, so here we've got a T2 for a 2-inch receiver. It's also available, a T2 2-bike for a 2-inch receiver. It's also available in an 1.25 inch receiver. The 2-inch model has the ability to add an extension for an additional 2 bikes. So now we're getting some serious hitch capacity for a total of 4 bikes. Awesome. As you would expect, the T2 can be moved up and out of the way when you're not using it. Just like that. But one nice feature that this sports is it can also drop down, which helps to get access to the rear of your vehicle. Alright, and you can do that when the bikes are loaded. That's what's critical. You don't need to remove all the bikes. The bikes are going to be tilted just enough out of the way so you can put up the tailgate and get access. Alright, now, as far as features go, instead of putting the hook down onto the frame, it's actually going to put it onto the wheel. Other than that, whoops, by the way, these are held in place. These are removable so that you can accommodate different wheelbases. If you've got a really narrow wheel, this hook goes in the lower mount. If you've got a really thick tire or a tall rim, then you want to go to the upper hook. So that's the reason why that's designed that way, by the way. Drop this in place, and go ahead and hook that in there for me, Steve. Thank you. And then that pushes down on the wheel against the tire, and it's held in place nice and firmly. Now, lock cords go in there, and locking hitch pin is also obviously available, the STL2. So there it is, the Thule T2 with the 2-bike extension. Alright, the last one we're going to show you is the Yakima HoldUp. Right here we've got the Yakima HoldUp 2 for a 2-inch receiver, which, because it's a 2-inch receiver, you can add the +2 extension right there for an additional 2 bikes. However, they do make an 1.25 inch HoldUp, but it's only 2 bikes, doesn't have the extension ability. Right now you can see we've got it in the upright position. There's a nice easy to find knob that'll lower that thing down. You open up the trays, slide up the hook, and this is going to, like the T2, it's going to put pressure on the tire of the bike, so you have no frame contact at all. Pretty nice design there. When the bike is loaded, like the T2 as well, this will also pivot down and out of the way, so you can have bikes on there, you can still get into the back of the truck a little easier. And the final feature here, for lockability, it comes with this cable. Basically, you loop this around the top tube of the outside bike, you snake the cable through, hook it onto the hitch pin, and you're good to go. So, thanks for watching. Yakima HoldUp 2. Go pick out a nice hitch rack for yourself now. Have a great day.